Hello. Iced coffee. Delicious. Hi, Andrew. Hello, friends. How is everybody on this Wednesday, this Woke Wednesday? How are you all doing? Hello. Drink water. Yes, I will drink water. How's everybody doing? Tell me in an emoji. I will tell you that I'm late because I am tired. Yes, I am sad. If I were to use an emoji, I don't even know what emojis I would be using, to be honest. Hello, Becca. I'm not that great, Jay, but thank you for asking. It's been a incredibly trying time. Oh, hello, Stephanie. It's your first time here. Well, welcome. Welcome to Woke Wednesdays. So as we do at the beginning of each Woke Wednesday, I say to folks, I say to all of you, please, please, please tell me in an emoji how you are feeling this week. By the time that we get to Wednesday, I have said for the past several weeks, past several months, that it feels like 16 weeks have been rolled into fucking one. I'm exhausted, I'm agitated, I'm annoyed. I will say this, I've had a lot of wonderful people. If you all listen to Woke AF, then you know that I talk about my mother a lot. My mother is a yogi. She owns a yoga studio. You can take virtual classes at Essence of Yoga Studio, and you can also follow her here on the gram. But my mother called me today, and she was just like, I'm really concerned with all of the energy that you're dispensing. I'm concerned with the energy that you were taking on with regard to all of these traumatic incidents, right? Like, how much more trauma do you think Black Americans can fucking take in, right? And I mean Black people that are from throughout the diaspora, but that live in the United States. How much fucking more do you think that folks can take in terms of the trauma that we are asked to ingest and then fucking show up and actually do work? Like, I find it so crazy that we are a year plus into a health pandemic. It seems as if every couple of fucking weeks, an unarmed Black person is murdered or maimed by police officers or white vigilante, and there's always this fucking excuse. It was an accident. I walked into the wrong apartment. I, opened up the door. They switched lanes too fast. Dante Wright was 20 years old, a year younger than my youngest cousin. And I cannot, as I watched the video this morning of his aunt, the pain in her voice, because she has to speak for the family because the parents are fucking beside themselves. The boy, because that's what the fuck he was. Because let me tell you something. If white motherfuckers want to continue to tell me that Donald Trump will somehow learn, do you know what I'm saying? Like, the man is 70 plus years old, but white people get to have perpetual adolescence for the rest of their lives. But as soon as Black people turn into double digits, we're considered full-fledged adults. Dante Wright was a fucking boy, right? Barely out of his teen years. Life cut short, and now we hear that what is her name? Kim Potter, the 26-year police veteran, she had an accident. Oh, and then we heard of the shooting in Atlanta. Oh, he had a bad day. How is it that Black people don't continue to have accidents every single day after we see headlines and stories of more and more of us being murdered? How come we don't flip out? How come we don't have these bad days that end up with other people dead? I can't tell you that when I heard the police chief, Tim Gannon, who has since resigned, he resigned alongside Kim Potter yesterday. When I heard accident, I thought to myself, again, how fucking stupid do you think that we all are? Did you see the pictures, folks? And if you haven't, go into my stories. Did you see the picture, the difference between a Glock, right? A 9mm fucking gun, and the bright yellow plastic taser? Kim Potter supposedly is somebody's training officer as well, which means that she trains people how to use their weapons, how to discharge their weapons, right? So you're telling me that when she pulled over Dante Wright for, by the way, a fucking air freshener, an air freshener, that's about as good as the broken taillight, the broken window, the dented license plate. Oh, your license and registration wasn't seen. And then you hear white people wanting to talk about, well, if he had only complied, he was scared out of his fucking mind. He didn't want to die, right? Because patterns, because over the 20 years of his life, imagine how many fucking headlines he has seen, stories he's been told. Before now, he has become a hashtag. But anyway, let's talk about the differences in these two fucking weapons. So when Kim Potter took out her weapon, you're telling me that it was unclear to her that it was bright yellow? That it was unclear to her that the black 9mm heavy gun that was loaded with bullets, she didn't know as she was pointing it at Dante Wright that it wasn't the yellow fucking plastic taser with a completely different setup for your finger for the trigger? 26 years. So much in the same way that we were led to believe that, Republicans don't fucking know better, or white police officers continue to be fearful of their lives, or, oh, it was a mistake. I was reminded in the comment section at Woke AF today, on today's show. Do you all remember the 2018 murder of Botham Jean in Dallas, Texas? You know, the young 20-something-year-old black man that was at home in his own goddamn apartment in Dallas, Texas, and a police officer, another white woman, Amy Kruger, found herself breaking into his apartment and killing him, and then saying that that was an accident because she thought it was her apartment? Do you guys remember that? So you tell me how many fucking accidents it takes us to get to murder charges and manslaughter. Because right now, Kim Potter is being charged with second-degree manslaughter in Minnesota. Just, a few neighborhoods over from where Derek Chauvin is on trial for fucking killing George Floyd in broad daylight in front of the world. This, folks, is bullshit. And anytime, if any of your fucking colleagues, anybody in your social media wants to tell you, if only they had complied, I have a list of fucking hashtags, a list of fucking people, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, cousins, sisters, girlfriends, boyfriends, who are now gone because of white people's fucking accidents when it comes to our black bodies, when it comes to our black lives. Kim Potter's defense is bullshit. You pull somebody over for an air freshener hanging in a rear view mirror. That's your excuse? That's your reason to pull them over? Let's talk about the bullshit reasons that police officers are allowed to use in order to pull people over to begin with. Tinted windows, dented license plates, air fresheners. All of this is an excuse to round up black people to either humiliate or murder us. Do you all remember the story over the summer of the entire black family along with the toddler that was pulled out of their car and had to force face down? Because what? The officers thought that they were some type of fucking drug cartel? Why would you need to put a baby in handcuffs? But these are the same fucking police officers that show up at our public schools when black and brown children have fucking tantrums and put them in fucking handcuffs and think that that's acceptable behavior. Remember all of this, because when they lie to us, when they gaslight us into telling us that, oh, why are you overreacting, black people? Why are you burning things? Fuck you and your fucking buildings. I want, if things would change, if every fucking Target were to go up in flames, I say pass me the fucking match. On God. Because the fact that white folks continue to be more concerned with the ruining of some property that they don't even have any investment in, but not the consistent pattern of murder of innocent black people, these are the conversations that you want to have. Let me tell you something. Some motherfucker had found themselves in my Twitter mentions, which just don't, okay? Like, you have free will. You don't have to follow me on fucking Twitter. You don't have to watch Woke Wednesday. You don't have to subscribe to Woke AF. There's a whole lot of things that you can do. So don't find yourself in my fucking mentions and want to talk about, well, if somebody had just complied. You know, if black people would just do the right thing. And then I show you a picture of white motherfuckers spreading their shit around the Capitol building. I show you pictures of white motherfuckers armed, spitting in the faces of police officers in Michigan, in Washington, D.C., in fucking Oregon, and nothing happening to them. I saw a meme this week that said, it is safer for you to be a white person with an AR-15 storming the Capitol building, any Capitol, the state Capitol, the fucking Capitol in Washington, D.C., than it is to be an unarmed, innocent black person driving or walking, having left your fucking house. Kyle Rittenhouse, Wisconsin, walked around with an AR-15, past police officers that asked him, do you know what? If he wanted some water before he shot and killed 2 protesters. And then white evangelicals turned around and raised that little piece of shit. 6 figures for his defense. Dylan Roof sits down, prays with 9 black people at Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina. Back in 2015, 2016. Shoots and kills all of them, except for 1 person. Police officers pick him up and ask him if he's hungry. So you want to know, you want to ask questions about why, like a fucking Walmart or a Wendy's or what have you is being burned to the ground? Because we're tired of the bullshit. Because police officers have all the ability in the world to pick up violent white people who have literally just murdered. Whether it be a group of women that were in a massage parlor in Atlanta, whether it be a group of people that were at a concert, whether it be a group of people that were at a church or a synagogue. If you are a white person with weaponry that literally still has blood on your body, police can somehow pick you up, bring you a snack, and then take you to fucking prison. You have an air freshener hanging from your rearview mirror, and you end up dead. And then white people want to talk about compliance. Fuck you and your fucking compliance. Why am I complying with a system that has been built to kill me? I'm just confused. I can't tell you that if I were to be driving these days, which I don't, thank God, because I take public transportation. No, I don't really. Is Uber public transportation? Nonetheless. I would be terrified getting pulled over. I'm actually always terrified when I see police officers. That's on real shit. I walk down the street. If I see a police officer on the street, I fucking cross the street. I want nothing to do with them. And you can tell me that there are good cops, and I'll tell you, show me. Where the fuck they at? Let me tell you something. Kim Potter is being charged with 2nd-degree manslaughter. She should be being charged with murder alongside Derek Chauvin. As we're watching, folks, Like, let me just tell you, let me unpack for you that the layer of trauma that we are all experiencing right now is very real. I was talking to one of my friends who is a therapist, a clinical psychologist, and she said to me, I want you to take good care of yourself. You know why, Danielle? Because second-degree trauma is real. Second-degree trauma is something that you did not need to have experienced. The murder of George Floyd, the murder of Breonna Taylor. You did not need to even watch these videos in order to be triggered, to be traumatized by what's happening, because the feeling is you can be next. It's only by chance of luck, folks, that like I'm sitting here, right? Like I go out, I go for walks the same way that Ahmaud Arbery went for a run. Every single day that we leave our house or are sitting in our house, just by being black, we're at risk. We're not at risk of just heart disease and diabetes and all of these things that are also stress and environmentally induced. And I could connect the dots back to racism, but that will be on another show. But the reality is that just by our very existence, we are at risk of murder, at risk of white supremacy. But they want us to believe each and every single time that they kill us or kill our children, that it's an accident, one that should be excused. So I have to tell you this. Amber Geiger, the woman who shot and killed Botham Jean in his own home in Dallas, Texas, she got 10 years in prison. 10. Right? There are people serving 10 years in prison right now for a dime bag of marijuana. That, oh, guess what? White people are now profiting off of that while black and brown people are still in prison. She got 10 years. And then you know what she had the fucking audacity to do in 2020 after she was sentenced in 2019? To appeal. She wants a lesser sentence. You don't think that you deserve to be in jail for the rest of your goddamn life for killing a man in his own goddamn home and then wanting to feign that it was some type of accident? Oh, you know what they said, folks? She had a long day. She had pulled a 14-hour shift. The amount of excuses that are afforded to white bad behavior is incredible to me. She had a long day. We all have long days all the fucking time. Somehow I managed to get to my apartment and not kill anyone. Right? Somebody should have asked Kim Potter, maybe she'll be asked on the stand if she actually does get on the stand. Why did you pull over Daunte Wright? And why, even if there was some type of warrant out for him, what was the warrant for? And if he wasn't doing anything wrong except for being scared, why the fuck were you gonna need to tase him? You're a 26-year veteran, right? On the police force. How many times have you had to use a taser? And tell us in the context of the reason why. Your life wasn't in danger. There was no threat. Right? Yeah, Stephanie, long day, bad day. Everything is an excuse to kill black people. Because what did they say? When your body, when your skin is considered a weapon, you are never considered to be unarmed. That's the reality of what it means to be black in America. And we're supposed to just take it, folks. They play our pain, they play our trauma over and over again. How many times will we watch the video of Daunte Wright's aunt screaming, crying, in such grief and trauma? How many more of those videos do we need to see? It's like porn for this country. Watching black people in pain, watching us terrorized and suffering. That's how they want to see us. And do you know what I say in response to that? Fuck you. I double down on joy. I literally, that's what I'm doing. That's my form. That's my act of resistance these days. I want to be as fucking happy and blissful as possible. because that's my fucking right as a human being. But all they want from us is our pain, is our misery. Because you see, every single act of violence against us, it might as well be black bodies still hanging from trees. The reason why during the years of terror and lynching in this country, that they would have black bodies stay hanging from trees, was as a warning, a message to other black people, to other enslaved black folks, to stay in line, keep your head down, or this could be you. Why do you think that they let in Ferguson, back in 2016, Michael Brown's body stay in the fucking street of his neighborhood for 4 hours before they covered it up? Why do you think that this persists? Because it's part of a system to keep black people in check, a system to keep us terrorized and on edge. There is a quote that Robert Jones Jr., who is an incredible author, you should follow him on here. His name is Son of Baldwin. He put up a quote from James Baldwin from the book Fire Next Time. And if you haven't read Fire Next Time, my God, he could have written it today, right? And in the Fire Next Time, he talks about the shock and awe that white people had during the Holocaust, right? And he says that they were so shocked by their own behavior that they could be so cruel, so ruthless. But then do you know what he talked about? The indifference of it all. No one gave a fuck about the Jewish people, right? 6 million people were murdered. And people want to say, oh, but that's why we went into World War II. No, it really wasn't. They allowed you know how long it takes to kill 6 million people? A long fucking time. And it wasn't done in the cloak of darkness. But what James Baldwin said is that he worried for the day that in America, that instead of taking off black people one by one, that when this country would decide to just do it in mass, that was his worry. And I think to myself, every time I see this headline, unarmed black person, fill in the blank, shot, murdered, suffocated, I think about, I wonder when they will decide to just do it in mass instead of one by one. When will they decide, right, that it's just our time, the extinction is next? This country is fucking exhausted. And Amanda Gorman, the beautiful poet who spoke at inauguration, said that being black and alive in this country is fucking exhausting. To take care of yourself. Like if you are finding yourself tired, depressed, unmotivated, unwilling to move, there's a reason for that. You're not crazy. And I'm here to tell you, don't feel crazy. Everything that is happening is being done purposefully to keep you down, to keep us in check. That's why I say, make joy part of your resistance. Make your happiness, being grounded in gratitude, your fuck you to white supremacy. I said the other day to one of my regular guests, Dr. Abdul Sayed, I said, do you know what I do when I'm like going out for my power walks and my runs and I'm working out and I want to stop? That's my fuck you to white supremacy, because I'm not going to have you make me overweight, make me feel like out, down and out. Oh, hell no. Right? Because at some point, I'm probably going to need to run. At some point, we're probably going to need to be as fit as fuck, because they're trying to kill us, folks. Like, that's the point. They're trying to kill us. So if you make your self-care, your health, emotionally, physically, spiritually, a part of your resistance, that's your fuck you to them. So that's what I have decided to do, because I'm filled with so much rage. But as my mother says constantly, being in such rage all the time is like drinking poison and expecting the person across from you to die. Do you see how stupid that sounds? So there has to be some outlet. There has to be some way that we move ourselves, because we're always going to be in this situation, because what we have to believe is that this is never going to end. Folks, it's been 400 plus years. We may not be hanging from trees, but we sure as fuck are still being dragged from cars, are sure as fuck still being suffocated, knelt on, persecuted, thrown away. America sees black people, black bodies as disposable. So in order to push back against that, I'm not begging for you to see my humanity. I no longer give a fuck about convincing white folks of my humanity. I don't care anymore. What I care of is convincing myself of my own worth. Right? Like, that's to me what matters. That's what fighting looks like. Is that I'm no longer sitting here and going to say to you, please, white person, see me, appreciate me, recognize my humanity. Why can't you have shared empathy? Why, when Kim Potter stopped Dante, why didn't she see a person that could have been her son, her nephew? Why do they need to have the same hue in order for you to see somebody else's humanity? He wouldn't have been stopped in the first fucking place had he been white with air freshener. Right? So the fact is, they are never going to see us. But it matters that we see ourselves and that we see each other. But I'm no longer in the business of trying to convince white people of things that I don't believe that they can be convinced of. Because if you were still in a situation after watching the viral video of George Floyd being murdered, and you're saying to yourself, well, that was a correct use of force. Oh, those police officers seemed like they were in fear for their lives. Ask yourselves how many times you've heard that same phrase, fear for my life, or it was a mistake. And at the end of that sentence is another dead black body. Right? The convincing doesn't work. The changing of hearts and minds, in my humble opinion, doesn't work. So whose heart and mind do I need to tend to? My fucking self. Myself, my tribe, my people, my family. That's how you begin to change things. Right? Just look in your own circle. But keep caring for yourself. Because this country, this society is surely trying to end us. Right? So if we don't look out for ourselves, then who is going to look out for us? And I will end by saying this week. Again, in terms of like the property and the destruction and like what have you. Here's the reality. We may have a new administration, right? Which, by the way, if you have been paying attention, the Biden administration is really struggling to fill their Department of Justice because the Republicans don't want to approve any of them. And I wonder why. Because I wonder who is going to be under investigation next. I mean, we see what's happening with Matt Gaetz and his sex parties with, pedophiles. I don't give a fuck about a sex party. You want to do that all day. But everybody that's there better be above the age of 18. Doesn't seem like that's the case with the Republican Party. Age is really not a thing for them. But nonetheless, folks, while we may have a new administration, there is nothing new under the sun here in America. And I still do believe that we are headed towards a powder keg situation. We are one match away from everything going poof here. And that's real talk. I speak to former federal prosecutors, judges, ex-police officers, movement leaders, and everybody is saying the same thing. I'm terrified. I'm terrified for America, and rightfully so, because we have no idea where things are headed, but it doesn't seem to be getting much better, does it? So all I can say to all of you is to continue to take care of yourselves. If you practice meditation, double down on it. If you work out, continue it. If you attend church, mosque, synagogue, whatever it is, do it. right? Reach out to folks so that you don't feel isolated and alone in your sadness, in your grief, because I'm telling you, it is being felt everywhere. You are not alone, so you don't have to feel that way, because many people are struggling in the same ways that you are to just get up, right? If you pray, do that, because we need to take care of ourselves, because this country does not want to take care of any of us who are not white, who are not straight, who are not Christian, who are not male. They are coming for us in every single space. And you have to understand that. If you think that they ain't coming for you right now, just wait. That is why it is so important for us to band together and for us to take care of ourselves, because nobody else is going to do it for us. Folks, if you are not subscribed to Woke AF Daily, do so. Head over to patreon.com/WokeAF, $5 a month for 5 one-hour-long shows each and every week. It's a wonderful community over there. Support independent Black queer voices like mine, and head over to Patreon. Until next Wednesday, folks, where I pray that there will be something good to share with you. But in the event that there isn't, find something that you will share with me in the comment section, something that is good and uplifting that we can start next week's Woke Wednesday with, because this shit is getting just exhausting, right? There's only so much coffee I can fucking drink to not lose my mind. I appreciate each and every one of you. Power to the people, and to all the people power. Get woke and stay woke as fuck. Until next Wednesday.